everybody, and welcome to the Skateboard Nation. And thank you for watching. First off, our guest tonight comes from our East Coast, Patrick Truitt. Actually, Pat's dad started Atlantic Skates back in like 75, 76, 74. Thank you. And one of he was the king distributor for a good 15 solid, maybe almost 20 years from going on back there. And anyway, so we just, they came up and they created brands and bought brands. And man, they helped skateboarding out to no end as far as everybody on the East Coast. So anyway, welcome, Patrick.
Yeah, it's good to be here, Dave.
And thank you for coming on the show, man. Anyway, so where do we start, man? From back in 74, we started Atlantic Skates. You were probably about 9 years old when your dad got involved in this stuff.
I was 10.
Okay, I was pretty close.
You were damn close, right? Yeah, it was a real unique time. Obviously, anybody that was skating back then, it was the beginning of everything. The beginning of what I'd consider performance skateboarding out of like sidewalk surfer,
right,
into the vert realm, transition, pulls, figuring things out.
It was kind of like I'm going to say the second generation of skateboarding. The first generation, now that I'm kind of learning a little bit more about skateboarding and the history of skateboarding, back in like 1960 to 63, I don't know if anybody knows this, man, but they sold like 50 million skateboards in 3 years. It was unbelievable how many skateboards were sold during that time. And then in 65, it can pretty much cut off. And then it started to regrow back in like 1973, 4. Your dad jumps in and starts selling skateboards. Unbelievable. And so I'm going to say that that's kind of the second go at skateboarding. So that was pretty unbelievable, the amount of skateboards that were out there. But it was considered a toy, and was probably during that time then we got urethane wheels, and your dad jumps in and starts selling skateboards.
It was pretty awesome, and it happened quick. It was an overnight kind of thing. And I don't mean overnight like within a week. But it was fast. It started with Josh Marlowe skating past our hotel on 8th Street in Ocean City, little 13-room hotel, and he was skating up to skate this plywood that was set up on the sand barriers. And you've been to Ocean City and seen how the boardwalk is. And I followed Josh up there, and I remember my ankle was tweaked. It was like rolled. He was doing like burts and like 1.5s, and I was stoked. I was like, oh, let me see that. And I got the bug. And Josh showed that board to my dad. And I remember, I think Dad went to Sundance, or he went down to Dale's shop, got me a skate, and I think every light bulb that ever went off went poof, 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 poof. And next thing you know, he's, I think a week, 10 days later, he's out at Tommy Sims' place.
Wow.
And meeting up with Larry Bama, Larry Gord, all those guys. Everybody that was around at that point in time. And I think within that year, he was like, we can sell this everywhere. And that's where he started.
Okay. So, all right. Okay, but you started skating. I kind of wanted, the whole thing I really wanted to do tonight was just kind of talk about a lot of the lost guys from the East Coast. I love the East Coast. It's got amazing vibe. I would say back in the day, probably about 75% of all skateboard sales were to the East Coast. It was a huge market back then. And there were so many guys, when I went back there were so many guys, even like when I toured. And I met them, and I don't remember like everybody, obviously. I know you were really tight with a lot of the Mid-Atlantic guys. I remember meeting, and I know like the Florida guys would come up. I mean, I know road trips back on the East Coast, 17 hours meant nothing. Of a drive. It's like, oh, let's go.
Right. Especially to go skate a park or later a vert ramp.
Yeah.
It was on.
Yeah. So anyway, I really wanted to like talk to you a lot about, who the guys were that were in the Mid-Atlantic, as far as like the skaters who helped progress the sport, to help it grow. Like your dad did one thing as far as going out and meeting everybody and distributing, and he was the only distributor back then until Art Harris came around, and
Mm-hmm.
then
Think art.
you know,
And
so
there was different like Donnell, Smooth Hill,
yeah,
and different other distributors. Um, South Shore was later, but yeah, it was Art and Dad primarily.
right, yep.
So
But like, okay, so you mentioned Marlowe,
yeah,
okay, as one of the guys, and he was one of the guys that, again, like I don't know what kind of coverage he ever got or anything, but I know he was one of the ripping guys that were in the Mid Atlantic. Like who else were you skating with at that time? Who?
well, you know how it was back then. If you were rooted in the East Coast and you didn't migrate like McGill, or
Right,
if you didn't move out west and be a part of the Hester series or the Gold Cup or whatever that was going on, you weren't going to get the coverage. You get minimal coverage. But as far as the Mid Atlantic was like, it was pockets of different like
groups of guys.
yeah,
Yeah,
cliques of family
yeah,
members.
right,
Because Ocean City had the Ocean Bowl that was
right.
built in '76. So everybody would come to that Ocean City, and Ocean City was one big party. You know this
Uh-huh.
in the summertime, particularly. And this was way before there was a vert ramp. Like our primary little Ocean City family was Josh, the Marlowe brothers.
Right.
It was a whole Kona team because Haystack, Josh's mother, go back
Okay.
a little bit, one who got the Ocean Bowl built, our art teacher, the one that made the clay model of it,
Wow.
and they just beat down because they made skateboarding illegal in Ocean City, and they beat up City Hall until they built the park. And Haystack was, she's called her nickname was Moss, mother of super skaters, and there was Josh, Brian, Greg, and Phil. They all did tours with Kona, and there was Mike Harrington and Kenny Hill. So those families, there was a number of families all lived within like 10-block radius. There was the Exters, there was the Hills, there was the Marlows, there was me. We're only blocks away, and Richie Holt was on 36th Street. Richie Holt, Josh would tell you. You listen to that one podcast. Josh will tell you Richie was ahead of all of us.
Like a year ahead.
Yeah, and he broke his leg, and
Right.
we all caught up. I had to catch up with Josh. Josh was catching up with Richie, and and then Mark Hordeman. One time, he's the one that was building those gnarly vert extensions. Mark, Jimmy McNulty, Park Pendleton, and so they ran those parks. Mark Emond, all these guys were like our board families who we skated with every day. And then the East Coast Toke team, which was Northern Virginia guys and DC and stuff. And Dave Tope, Mike Mapp, Mike Rowe, who built Cedar Crest later, and tons of other ramps prior to doing Ramp Tech. And then you had Dan Heyman, Bob Humble, Puker. You had John Ayers, Bob Blair, Dave Tobin. I said once. I mean, there were tons of these people we skated. We all ended up being roommates, whether it was Ocean City or we were always together somewhere. It was just a big skate family. But that was our primary East Coast. The Salisbury guys were like Charlie Duvall and Mark Eamon, of course. He was both. That's only a half hour away. You've been there.
Yeah, I remember the bike Berlin, just north of it or whatever.
And then later people like Damon and Derek Krasowskis, they came in the 80s, but we're talking about like the late 70s, that period of time. That was a huge part of everybody figuring everything.
Yeah.
Everybody was, and we were figuring it out. It was pretty badass.
Yeah. Well, there was a skate park that was like in Townsend. Is it Townsend or what was that one skate park? I think it was still there right now, but it was all like snake runs and stuff. It was built probably about
you're thinking
same
about
time.
Lansdowne.
Lansdowne.
Lansdowne's still there. You got
Okay.
Cabbage, who did the podcast, is local there. You've got Cave Dave. I think all those guys that they got a good scene going on there. I skated that place opening day.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, because I
And
skated back in the '90s, and there was a lot of BMX guys, and it was a very, very, I'm gonna say, super hardcore scene there
yeah, when
of BMX guys. And when skaters came in, man, they didn't really like us at all. I can say that, but
well,
that's because we weren't local. They didn't know
oh,
us.
that was a
So
pretty heavy area. I didn't spend a lot of time up there, but I was inland, living up in Baltimore for a while with the Krasauskas family, Damon and Derek, and then there was Steve and Bobby Noonan. They hooked up, and they were skating that a lot. We were skating a lot of the micro vert ramps back then. So
is this it right here? Just out of curiosity.
it looks like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, okay. So I just remember skating there, man, and these guys were like threatening to beat us up, and there was a gang of them, and I was with Kane Gale and Dave Duran and Billy Rohan was there. There was like a bunch of us, and I just kind of they were like giving us a ton of shit, you know. And then when I kind of told them who everybody was, then they lightened up on us, and they were like, "Okay, you guys are cool to skate,
Right.
you know." And I was like, "Oh, thank you very much." But
There's
yeah,
Heyman right there, I
yeah,
think. Yeah, they have huge contests now, like huge gatherings,
yeah.
really good contests, like bank slalom runs, and they're doing a good thing with that now. In fact, I got to go check it out when I get back there.
Well, I know you're going back in September,
Yeah, go back.
so you told me that, and so that'll be good for a lot of reasons. All right.
We'll
Well,
make sure we go back, frequently enough.
well, okay. So you were kind of touching like in the clay wheels basically when you were like probably 9 or 10 years old.
Yeah,
You know.
before I saw Josh, my buddy Chris Crows and I, who lived actually a half a block closer than Josh. Chris and David Crows and I hung out. We were walking down Philadelphia Avenue, and there was a skateboard in a puddle. And it was a shark board.
Yeah.
It was one of those makes a shark boards.
I can't. I have no idea.
And it had
I'll have to call Dale.
it had it had somebody knows. I know who it is. I'm drawing a blank. And it had a set of metal wheels on it, and nothing on the. I don't even know if it's tail or nose. And I found a set of clay, and I tried to ride that thing, and it was just not going to work. Trucks are crooked, Anyway, so but it wasn't long after that Josh saw Josh who set up, and that changed everything.
All right. So what other skate parks do you remember back there that you guys were hitting? What were I mean, was there anything that was decent? I mean, I know the Ocean Bowl, okay, but that park was kind of like our home avenue.
Right.
Same with Lansdowne.
Lansdowne.
Okay. At that time, I mean, was there any other like good bowls, good pools like on the East Coast that you know about that you remember?
Well,
Or was it all ramps?
the
like,
early stuff
vert?
say pre-Cherry Hill.
Okay. Yeah.
My favorite parks were there was a lot of good parks that I didn't even get to. Dad was blowing up with Atlantic, so we went to primary events that I was available with because he was gone quite a bit.
Yeah.
Back and forth, but I'd contested like Concrete Wave, where
Out here, or was there another concrete wave there?
well, Concrete Surf.
Oh, okay, concrete surf.
And
Okay.
it was on Pulaski Highway,
Yeah.
I think.
Okay.
Anyway, that was one of my favorite places to go. I'd skate, I'd skate with Rudy Castillo and our East Coast Pineapple, and Kenny Willis, who actually worked for Dad, and Rudy is good friends with Dad. And,
Okay.
and then Denny was always there, and Chip Frederick. Chip Frederick was kind of a freak of nature, both in the water and skating. And so I had all these chances, Bobby Strange, people like that. So I had all these chances to go. I was a little dude. I was always little, right? Josh was 3 months younger than me, and he's 2 feet taller. So for me, I was learning with like Danny, who's like 3, 4 years older, and when you're 13, 12 years old,
Yeah,
it's a
yeah, it's a big
difference,
difference. Yeah, yeah.
So, and that Kinked Bowl, Thunderdome, I won a contest at Thunderdome dropping in because no one's seen anybody drop in. And it was on a tombstone.
Yeah.
There's a picture of Dad holding me up so I could balance. It's pretty funny. But that place was a blast to skate, and that was in York, PA. But there were so many different parks, like the Glass Wave, which became Rolling Surf in Ocean City. That was inland. There was Dan Hopkins and Salty came with that, moved to Ocean City with it.
Wow.
And those guys ripped. There's a lot of like
Thunderdome.
oh yeah, there's Thunderdome.
Wow. Yeah, see, that looks just like Home Avenue. That's the same type of deal that we had there. And
Yeah,
the skating looks exactly the same too. Except for they have the same crappy pads and
right. Well, we didn't have caps yet, right? So that see that extension there?
Yeah.
That's at the bottom of it. There's a bigger extension and a deeper bowl up here. And it's funny because you got this 25-foot bowl, which is just this big, giant, gradual bowl with a 5-foot vert extension at the top. So you had to get speed just to get to it. But there's one right there. And those guys there, they figured that place out. They skated it good, ripped it. And
Was it concrete with
asphalt with those extensions were cinder blocks. But then most of the time, if I wasn't going to contest, I was home because I was surfing every day and skateboarding every day.
Yeah. Well, I always wondered how your dad got involved in skateboarding. His background is race cars.
Mm-hmm.
He was a race car driver.
Mm-hmm.
And he drove during a time when people were dying at every race.
Every race,
Man. Somebody got. I mean, I saw pictures.
I think they narrowed it down to.
Is that right?
Somewhere
it's in once a week. Yeah, because I mean, it was so dangerous. The cars were. I'm sorry. 1958. 59. Those things were just. They're the little minis, the midgets. They were midgets.
And sprint cars, champ cars, all those. Champ cars are basically what Indy cars were. They were just gauged up, they were scaled up in size and power, but those things were gnarly. Dad, cages didn't show up roll cages didn't show up until
he quit.
68. No,
until he quit. And then he said, no more to this.
No,
man.
He took advantage. He took advantage of the cages. He never told you that story.
No, I had no idea.
In 68, he ordered a cage chassis from California.
Okay.
And
there's a picture right there of one of your dad's cars.
Now that's
during that time.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
That's at Bloomsburg Fair. Dad's back's jacked up. See where he's actually doing that? That's because his back was jacked up. That's Kenny Weld, one of the most famous all-time sprint car drivers.
Mm-hmm.
And Kenny was a good friend of Dad's. And Kenny would race for Dad whenever he was injured or couldn't. And he blew through the heats, through the semi, through the feature, and his time was so fast they wouldn't let him race the next day.
Wow!
They came up with it. There was 2 sets of series of features and heats, but I remember that race. I was there. I couldn't see it. I was in the infield, but
oh darn it!
You
had to sit there in the infield, man.
I mean, you get to.
Yeah.
And that's before I was alive. Yep, that's 4 years before I graced this planet.
Yeah. Well, it's a good thing he made it through that one right there because he is the guy in front of him, it looks like, is going sideways.
Yeah.
But I know he was in car 92.
Yep.
And I see these pictures and you just, I don't know if you've seen all the pictures. I mean, obviously you've seen all the pictures your dad had of that, man, but there were some insane car accidents that I saw. Cars going over into the crowds, flipping like 30 times, when they would hit
Well,
a hole or something in the dirt track that they were
or they
racing
get
on.
together, or they get together, and
Yeah, just go
you
over
just
each
got to
other.
get sideways or hit that. Yeah, it didn't take
So
much.
so here he is race car driving, and then he comes into skateboarding, which I thought was kind of unique. Let's just say, like,
Well, I was going to
so
add about that cage chassis.
yeah,
I was 4 years old, and it was Hershey Speedway, and he flipped 7 times around the third and fourth turn. I was there, and I can't remember,
yeah,
I can't recall it the way I did visually then, but I remember what happened. I remember getting up and yelling at the person behind me, going, "Oh, that guy's dead,"
yeah. Ooh.
going, and I remember going, so he's the only one on the track with a cage, and he flipped 7 times and flew out, landed on the tailpipe. He was unconscious for a month. I don't know if he ever told you that.
I had no idea about that.
For a month.
So he was basically in a coma.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so medically induced.
Well,
Probably
I
they
don't
just
even
did
know.
that
And,
just so he
and
could
you know,
heal.
he won't tell you. Oh,
Yeah,
he just
yeah.
goes, he walks right past it.
I forgot.
I don't know. That
Yeah.
shit's over.
Yeah. No, I mean, I know, man, but you got to give him props for, like race car drivers. I mean,
But he was good.
that's a special breed, you know?
Yeah.
So,
They used to race in T-shirts.
yeah.
T-shirts.
No helmets, just
Going
go
100,
flying.
going 160 miles an hour, and then hitting a turn.
Yeah.
It was,
Some did wear
Dirt
seatbelts.
tracks. Yeah, dirt tracks,
but they
man.
wore lap belts for a while,
That's about it.
and then those would give way. And there's some examples of that online. You could,
Yeah. Well, even your, I mean, of all the people, like your brother, Sam, he got into auto mechanic, owning a shop and the whole bit. He was a little bit older, so he had to have been like really watching that kind of stuff and seeing your dad and getting into that. I mean, it's a mindset to
Yes.
be into that stuff and to carry it on. And he was the one who followed up and did that.
Yeah, Sammy and Robin, they're badasses. They're good.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember I'd go up and same year I was up there with Damon and Derek. We were skating Fisherman's, which became the Hell Ramp in Dundalk, where Bucky came out of, and Bucky and Derek were the two premier.
Okay, I want to talk about that.
And so that was that year. I reference things that way.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, no worries.
But yeah, so I'd be up there, and Sammy lived there in Arbutus, and those guys lived in Catonsville. And I actually went up there to meet my mom. Never met my mom. It's
Okay.
one of the
Yeah.
central reasons, and I met my two sisters.
Yeah.
Who were fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And then anyway, I'm getting a little.
Yeah, that's all
Thinking
right,
about
man.
it,
Good for
so
you, man. No,
reflecting-
I mean, honestly,
reflecting.
I saw pictures of your sisters, but I've never seen,
Yeah,
I've never
which
met them.
reminds me, I got to give
Yeah.
Debbie a call too.
Yeah.
I haven't talked to her in a long time. But so Sammy was up there, and he was dropping engines into cars right there at
Yeah.
this place. A couple years later, he's got a shop, and then Desert Storm hit, and he's so good at what he does at 4x4 speed
right.
specialties. He was doing all these car shows and stuff, but he's so good at what he does that he's that special.
Yeah. Passionate.
What do you call it?
And he's like he's like Dorsey, man. He's a workaholic from what I understand too.
Yeah, he's
you know.
like what Eric
Yeah.
Connor does down here at SoCal. You know what Eric Connor?
I don't.
Eric and Keon Kim started skating for Toxic same time.
Okay.
He makes those gnarly desert drags buggies that
Eric
jump.
Connor.
Yeah.
Was he from La Jolla area? Was that where he was
Yeah, he's
from?
down in San Diego. Yeah.
Okay, down La Jolla area. Yeah, I think I know who you're
Him
talking
and
about.
Keong both
Yeah.
go ripping. We made a
Yeah.
couple decks. I wanted to do something more elaborate now that we're up and rolling.
I think I remember from back in like the 8th Street days, though. Wasn't he?
Yeah.
He's a little bit younger, though.
Yeah, they turned pro
Okay.
in '91.
Okay, so that's, it's the same guy.
Yeah.
I didn't know that's what he
That'd
was
be him.
doing now. But yeah, I know the name and I remember the name in the skating. So anyway,
But
interesting.
that's the kind of shit Sammy does, but
Yeah.
with like 4x4 cars, drag, race car, regular cars, anything. He's just a badass.
Yeah, I saw pictures of his shop and I know times he was ready to sell and go retire, but it sounds like he hasn't done that yet.
Well, now, no.
I don't think he'll be
He
happy
wants
if he
to-
does, man.
You know what Sammy and Robin like doing? They got They got this.
Motorhome.
They got that motor. Did I tell you about it? They come down. They don't stay. I get it, man. It's
Yeah.
badass because Amy and I were looking.
Well, as much
For
as you
one,
guys are on the road, I think that might be a good call for you guys too.
We
Follow up in your dad's footsteps, because
just got a
that's-
van. We'll just throw food.
yeah, right. Well, you won't need to. Well, I don't know if you'll have room for it. You have so
No,
much
not
stuff in
with
it
all
right
the
now.
product.
I know.
But they like to dive.
Oh, okay.
Like they like to not snorkel, but they like
Right.
to
They're divers.
get down into
Yeah.
the reefs and
Right.
and do all that stuff. And now Sam's son, Sammy, and his wife Rachel, they just bought a property up where they're at, and
Yeah.
he's doing the same things, and he's a badass too.
Yes.
He did the same thing. He paid attention.
Yeah. Absolutely. Wait a minute. I got one last question though about that. And how tall is Sam?
He's got to be 6 foot, 6'1".
Yeah, I thought he was. I know he's a few inches taller than you,
well-
but your dad's was like 5'10", I think,
Your
right?
Dad's 5'7".
Oh,
I'm
okay.
5'6".
Okay. And yeah,
Sam's or Dad maybe 5'8". I don't know. I got the short end of the stick. That's why I skate first.
yeah, that's it, man.
So
Yeah.
we all look identical. So
I know.
There's no.
Yeah,
there's no
I know.
dispute.
No, you and Sammy look so much alike, and like your dad. So I'm not. I was just wondering, where did Sam get his height from? But
Ella's same thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Debbie, all of that. Dawn, my older sister.
Yeah.
Dawn, that's true.
Same thing. Yeah.
Distinct.
Okay. Well, let's get back. As far as the skating stuff goes, and because I know after your dad started, and I know I'm spending time on this as far as but your dad jumped in a van and he did the same exact thing as what you guys are doing, which is pretty awesome. And he drove out and saw all the skate shops, the bike shops. Well, actually, they were more like surf shops. They carried skateboards,
surf and bike.
yeah, and
Bike
then the
shops or
bike
the skate
stores,
shops.
yeah, and then even whatever other like stores that would carry a skateboarder and stuff, and he just jumped in his van and just started going out and seeing those guys, and that's how he built his distribution company.
And he'd go
Pretty
to
amazing, man.
He'd go to all the neighborhoods where everybody skated and all
Yeah.
the ditches and all the in that tri-state
So he knew
area.
he knew all the hot
and
spots.
they'd know what day he was showing up.
Yeah.
And it's funny, he had a white Chevy van that he was doing it in, and
It said Atlantic on the side of it.
and he had a white Chevy van, and we just bought a fucking Express white.
Oh, is that right? You guys did? Oh, awesome.
We had to go to Vegas to
Yeah.
find it. You can't find one in California.
Right. You can't find much right now in California, that's for sure. Okay, well, anyway, so during that time, he went out and he bought, he was just distributing everybody's product back then. And then he jumped in and he went and bought Brand X,
Mhm.
okay, and Toxic. I think it was Brand X was first and then Toxic.
Well, what
What's
happened was he's prior to that, he was doing some Crip sticks, I think, for Jim Ford.
Okay.
Just the fades.
Okay.
And those were decks. First, it was We had some Wee Willie Winkle decks, and then Rob's decks, Rob
Right.
Dykema, and which we just picked up a bunch of those original decks.
Amazing.
Use the
Yeah.
original. I'll stay on point, and then
Yeah.
I'll mention that. But
Oh, we'll get there.
what he would do is he was just making Crip sticks, and then I guess as after boulder boards, and then I guess after the K beams, the Mickey and Steve Alba decks, the K beams, those vertical laminate boards. After that, Jim didn't have anybody making wood for him. So, he's a reference. This is one of the graphics that we did
Yeah.
with the Kryptonics back then.
Okay.
It's called the Guardian Viper by Will Wiscott. Now, Will Wiscott worked at Action Island with Kim Hart, and that's right there in Ocean City. So Will primarily, Kim did the Godoy's graphic.
What?
Yeah, Kim
You
Hart
mean back in the day?
did the Godoy's, the one we just reissued.
Wow. Okay, I got a picture of that, but not coming up.
Yeah, the
But
one we just
but those guys are such amazing artists. Did they know, or were they like two-tone graphics?
well,
'Cause
back then,
those guys are, those guys aren't afraid to talk and speak their mind.
no, not at all. But back then, they were just stoked, I think, to get it
Okay.
next. Steven, art was just down, and we were just
Yeah, that's
together.
the one Godoy. Well, I only have the bottom of that one, or the top graphic, I should say. But it was just that it was a Godoy board,
No,
and I can't.
that's a
Oh, which one is that one?
that's a DP.
Oh, no, is
Yeah,
it? Oh, okay. Because
top
underneath
side.
it said
That's a
uh
the Godoys is twins, two heads with the horns.
okay. I'll try and find that one.
And I should have brought
So
one because I've been packing them all.
I
The
didn't know
last
you
few
still
days.
have some in stock, man. That's awesome.
We just got them.
Oh, okay. All
We
right.
just got them.
Because there we go. There it is, right there.
Yeah,
All right.
that's it. That's
Okay.
that black stain.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
yeah, I gotta give Steve a call. But we talked to him.
Did they
last
do
night.
that graphic?
No, that's Kim Hart. Did
That's
that
the
graphic.
original artwork
Kim
then.
Hart from Action Island in Ocean. What's in Berlin, Maryland now?
Wow.
Did that graphic
That's amazing right there.
originally. And between Kim and Will Wiscott, they did when we started doing the Kryptonics X, what he did was they created a series of graphics called the High Energy series. And that's
Okay.
what we call them. On this, Kryptonics used to be in the splash.
Okay, well, wait a minute. Yeah, we'll get it out. Well, the biggest thing is I noticed on that board is that you still have new school and old school trucks
Yeah.
for it. It's drilled for both, so that's pretty sick right there. It's got concave on that thing is pretty amazing too, in the sense that
Over
well,
more. You're right.
hold on,
Gotcha.
There
Yeah.
you go.
right hand.
If I don't
Yeah.
look at that,
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, don't
I
look
know.
at that. Don't look at this.
Anyway, yeah,
Show
I
it to
mean,
Dave.
those are
what we did with the original flat, remember those
Yeah, yeah.
flat molds
Flat
that we had
molds.
back then?
yeah.
What we did, and I was doing this with Tim was and Damon's too when he is make this work in this fat point,
Yeah.
which has the kick.
Uh-huh.
It actually kicked it back and gave it a nose.
Okay.
So it modernized the exact same shape.
Yeah, I can see the concave on that. It's
Just
not
by-
as old school as it used to be.
But it was
That's
flat.
yeah, that board right there is much more writable right now.
Yeah, so what
Well.
we've been doing is we've been throwing the original shapes in multiple different molds to get a modernized.
Okay, a little bit. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the best way to do it for people nowadays. Because I mean, I wouldn't want to ride even one of my boards with that. I mean, my first board had no concave to it at all.
Right.
So, and then the big thing is when the new concave boards came out, they were so slight, but it was something that they were like, oh my god, new concave.
Well, you know, when
but
those
those things
bevels-
were still like nothing.
there was
Yeah.
nothing to hold your feet on. And then when those bevels came out, the Salva bevels.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
man, so they were on the shelf at Atlantic. So there was two things that happened. Since I had access to everything, there was the Fred Blood. Was it Fred that was the roller skater or Frank?
Yes.
Fred was the roller skater.
So there was Blood Revolver skate wheels. There were 60mm wheels. There was a case, one
Yeah.
case of them, and they were the same profile as a wheel now.
Right.
And we're riding big double conicals.
Yeah.
So there's pictures of me riding Salva bevels, 215s, I think, maybe 169s, and you can see the Blood Revolvers.
Wow.
Like, you're talking 40 years ago.
Yeah. Does your dad still have a lot of the old stuff sitting in the warehouse, or have you gone through all the good stuff?
No, well, everything that was there when we went back there.
Oh shit, it's all gone.
Well, I knew what was there,
Yeah.
and because I had worked there with Penny
Right,
and
right.
Dad through the
Yeah.
years. And when I wasn't working there, I'd be reorganizing, or just making things accessible. But I knew where everything was, all the old stock. So we went and bought all the old stock, and just shipped 2 giant pallets. I mean,
Yeah.
stacked it,
Of course.
we
Yeah.
shrunk
Yeah.
and send it back. But it was stuff like ODI risers, cell block 3s. We bought all the ugly sticks. And
Yeah.
all the sex bulbs.
Yeah.
Dude, there's like
Yeah.
600,000 sets of sex bulbs. You know what I mean? We'll never sell them all, you know? So they'll end up in Halloween buckets. You know?
Tuned up,
Yeah,
we'll
man.
give
You
them
know
away.
what? I
Yeah.
We'll
remember.
give them away.
I
Grab that.
All the rip.
Yeah, I remember all the grip tape your dad had at one point, man. He had pallets and pallets and pallets of grip tape, man. Like I don't even think the grip tape factory had as much grip tape in that warehouse
He was moving it.
as your dad had. It was pretty funny at Atlantic, you know.
Yeah, if he was, well, you gotta remember, he went from having like a bait shack to the next door, to the place next door. And I got dad's like cool ledgers from back then, you know,
Oh wow, yeah.
where, you know, it's unique stuff.
Does he still have stuff on the wall in the
Yeah.
office?
Yeah.
So he's got some boards on there that are worth thousands of dollars each, still
Yeah,
just sitting on the wall.
Yeah, Penny's got them all. Or dad too. They're both
Yeah.
down there now and
Right.
organized because dad wasn't messing around in there. Now he's down there, you know, going through all the old files and.
Well, I see your dad on Facebook quite a bit now. You know, he goes through spurts where he's not on, then all of a sudden you see him a whole bunch and making comments and stuff.
Dude, he's got to be.
Oh.
There's definitely only one of that guy.
Yeah.
He's fucking awesome.
So did you ever go with like trade shows and demos and stuff? I mean, trade shows with your dad and, you know,
Yeah, like the first trade show I went to, that one in New York in '78,
okay.
that we were just
Yeah,
trying
yeah,
to
yeah.
figure
Right.
out what year it was. It's when I met Jamie Mosberg. Mouse was
Yeah.
in the booth next to us,
Wow.
and they brought the tracker half pipe. And I remember it was there was like hundreds of people wanting to skate, and it was me. Glennie was shooting. It was me, Mouse,
Wait, Glenn
Friedman.
Friedman was okay.
Yeah, and then it was me, Mouse, like Kenny Means,
Wow.
another roller skater, Bob Bignac,
Wow.
and
Okay.
and Paul.
And Stoutno?
Yeah, Paul,
Wow.
and we were having a blast, and it was just us on that ramp. It was fun, just getting. All I wanted to do is get as many runs in on anything at any time as I could.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I didn't care who was there.
Right, yeah,
I
of course,
just
just
wanted
wanted
to
to skate.
skate.
Yeah, yeah.
But I remember Paul was super cool, and Bignac was those guys were cool. Like they reminded me of like Jay's attitude. They were,
Oh yeah, of course.
you know,
Yeah, they had to, man. I think they were all like that pretty much.
they were gnarly,
you know?
but they were stoked to be skating with you, no matter what, you know. And Mouse ripped.
Yeah.
I remember seeing him at Cherry Hill after that, and he broke his foot. I always thought he broke his ankle, and we were talking about it just at Monch's.
Yeah.
And he said, "No, I broke my foot," but he would have won that contest. He ripped.
Yeah. Yeah, Jamie, yeah, when he came, he was one of the guys that came out here back in the day, and you know, that's when I first met him too. Otherwise, I might have met him at Brick Skate Park, but that was back in like '90. So I don't remember when I first met Jamie, but it was a while ago. I know that. It was over 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm talking, talking '78, right? So
yeah.
but he was. I remember he had him and Stacy Smink. Both had such good style and were pulling. You know, back then, that's when Bobby Valdez came. Terry Hunt was like doing invert. It just came out in the bag.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, right.
You know,
Yeah. So he was doing them out there then for everybody.
but
Did you see him there?
Bobby,
Yeah,
yeah,
at Cherry Hill.
in the keyhole too.
Okay,
The
yeah.
worst pool there.
Yeah, that was a fun pool.
Well, I mean, when I say the worst
yeah,
pool,
I know.
just because of the kink.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could dodge that kink. I remember it. And I thought that was a really actually okay. You know, that's a lot of people don't understand is like you know, you mentioned that kink in that pool, but that was not really a kink to the standards of kinks that I skated like at Upland.
right.
You know, that was a kink in that pool. Spring Valley, super kink. You know, like I'm sorry, man. I slammed when I first skated Upland, man. My first time I rode that rail pool, I slammed so hard in that face ball when I hit the kink. I had no idea, man. I went right into it and bam! I was just full body slam right
Full
into the wall,
speed.
man. Yeah, I had no idea. I was like, oh my god, there's a kink there. You know, I always made that mistake my whole career of always like never like just first time you
Never,
jump in a bowl.
never
Yeah,
get,
just like
taking a
get,
couple mellow
yeah,
runs,
never, man. It was always like
feeling out
okay,
the
you know,
transition.
yeah. And oh my gosh, man, I have to say Upland was the one pool that got me the most by far. I slammed more there than anywhere without a hardest falls I've ever had were all at Upland. So
I never
anyway,
skated it, but from the outside looking in, and from everything I know about it, and
yeah,
everything you've gained through decades, all that gravity,
yeah,
you know, that was the proving ground.
it was a proving ground. There's no question about that. Yeah,
Yeah.
you could skate that pool. You could skate anywhere, and I think that's why, like Mickey destroyed that place. Steve did. Totally different styles of skating. You know,
Yeah.
Mickey was like Steve was strong. He was I don't know, I'd call it bold, just a terrorizer on that thing, you know. And he hit every time he hit the coping, you could hear it, you know. Where Mickey was just would float. Like that was the difference, man. And you know, both of them had the same amount of tricks, you know. So, but totally different. But yeah, that pool definitely was the difference between men and boys there, man.
Separated.
It did. So
Distinct. But the only reason I brought up that kink
yeah,
is because how fucking perfect that egg bowl was. The only reason you're going to notice a kink in a park like that is if the egg bowl and the kidney aren't there.
yeah. Well,
You're not going to give a shit about the kink. If it's just the peanut and the keyhole, oh, you're stoked. You got to say, but that egg bowl was there. And it was by far one of the, some people say to this date, the best fucking pool they've ever skated.
okay, I'm gonna laugh, and I'll tell you why. Okay, that egg bowl. Okay,
Uh-huh.
you couldn't work it side to side. I couldn't. Man, so
Right.
all I did is I carve up the front, drop in the shallow as hard as I could, hit the face wall, and do whatever trick I could, as big as high as I could, and then drop back in. And if
Your
you tried to
speed's
hit the
gone.
sidewall, yeah, if you tried to hit the sidewalls and stuff, because it was like such a perfect egg, I couldn't work it. You know, otherwise I was just doing barely like working so hard just to do a frontside grind after you carved the face wall and went around. I don't know. I guess I didn't have the lines after spending 3 days there, but that's when I first met the Godoys. Was at that pool because those guys were there. Those guys were there, and I was doing backside airs over the fence, like, and those kids were sitting there. Both Art and Steve were just sitting there watching, like, and I remember I'm like, and they were like, go higher, you know. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go higher. You know, I had no idea who these guys were until I finally met them, you know, and they were them and Cherry Hill. There was one other kid there that used to rip that place too.
Jamie Godfrey.
Well, yeah,
Dean
Jamie,
Godfrey.
yeah, but I don't
Mike
remember being there when
Kozlowski.
Jamie was there. I don't think Jamie was. Maybe Jamie was there. Maybe it was Jamie. I don't remember. But there was some other kid that was there that was destroying that place, and he and I kind of like went into. See, this is what I'm talking about. I don't know the kid's name, but he was a ripper, man, and he could have come to California and held his own to anybody, you know. And I can't remember, but I remember he was doing like bass plants almost, you know, back then. It was like a foot plant, but really like kind of like a fast plant. And I just thought it was like, okay, he's bouncing out and jumping up and going back in. Like, that's cool. You know, it's a foot plant. I've seen that.
Right.
But it was really kind of more of a fast plant. But I can't remember who the kid was to this day. And I always and I just think about that. Like, you know, there's another kid that ripped really hard. It could hold his own in California, but he was at Cherry Hill. And I'm sure there's some Cherry Hill guys out there that know who the heck I'm talking about, who the best skater was out there. But he was pretty amazing. I will say that. And then, but the keyhole, I spent probably most of the time in the half pipe. That was there. I love that thing, man. That thing was incredible. Yeah, my whole experience at Cherry Hill was super awesome, and the owner took really good care of us. And you know, when we were on tour, and I was there with Duke Rennie, the Duke.
I just saw Duke when we were up at Shredfest.
Yeah, okay.
Up at Pink Motel.
And I skated I was with Duke and Olson was there for a day when I was there. He just stopped in. He was in and out. But anyway, yeah. But the Egg Bowl. Everybody does say how great it was, but for me, all I could do was the face wall. So I don't know. I guess I was just cooped it, and I didn't have a whole lot of luck there for that. So anyway,
What was
so
something?
hey, when you were skating too, who else? Were you sponsored by somebody other than just getting whatever you needed at Atlantic?
Well, I was like on the tracker team, but I wasn't on the team. I was like I never had to be sponsored.
Yeah, I
You know
know.
what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
And so I was always going to represent Dad.
yeah. Well, what about Brand X? Did you ever have pro model back then or at any time?
No,
No,
no.
you never did,
When
huh?
Brand X, when Dad came in and took over Brand X, that was in '86, and I just flew out to. So I'll get into that
Okay.
afterwards. But yet, I never had a Brand X model. People had Brand X models were like Ken Sigafus. A
Oh
lot
my
of the
God, Sigafus. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
we're Ken
This is like
Ken
another guy. Sigafus was amazing. That
yeah
guy killed it. And yet, it's like I don't know.
yeah.
Just
There's tons of I mean
I forgot all about him. He
there's
was another
so many
ripping
good
guy.
East Coast skaters, and I
Yeah,
mean we didn't even talk about Virginia Beach guys.
yeah,
Um, the PA guys. All the guys that were with like Mertz
yeah,
and then Bernie O'Dowd and I mean there's just so many. Jeff Graham, who's a photographer and
yeah, yeah. Geoff.
ETF, he ripped.
I forgot about Graham too,
And,
man.
and I mean, there's those guys. I
I,
mean, it's endless, and all the guys that came down with Freddie, Freddie Smith, and those guys were
oh yeah,
skating
Freddie
with us
Smith.
all the time. And then you had,
I gotta say, man, I went to Geoff's house one time up in Baltimore, and man, I've never never been so scared driving around the
oh,
place in Baltimore.
Baltimore.
Man.
Well, back then, yeah,
Oh
back then,
man, it was the sketchiest thing ever. And he was
right.
like trying to tell me like, okay, you gotta park it over here and you gotta do this, man. And I got lost and I remember asking somebody for directions and they were pointing me down the wrong street, man. California plates. I was like, oh man, this
Dude,
is
that's a
bad.
bad idea, right?
Yeah, it was a bad idea where I was going in Baltimore, man. But
Damn.
that was Geoff's place, man. But I don't know. Do you ever talk to Geoff? Do you know how he's doing?
No, he's doing good. I had
Mhm.
some slides to send him like 2 years ago. The ones that I got from Louise, she sent me all
Yeah.
the Louise Bama
Yeah.
sent me all the slides from all the toxic photo shoots, and then some stuff that he took like Darren. So when we've moved twice since then. So I finally found him like a month ago. But I was talking with him that he designed
Geoff did?
this,
Geoff did.
from what I
He-
understand.
He did the logo? The
He
toxic
did
logo?
this because we're jumping ahead, maybe. But,
Yeah,
No, we're good.
that's all right. Yeah, we're
This-
good.
Team Toxic came out of Ambler Trophy,
Oh my God, Ampler Trophy. I forgot all about that
which was
guy.
one
Yeah.
of Dad's accounts.
Right.
And those guys had started Team Toxic, Willie Scions, and Chuck Treese's. I mean, there's a ton
Chuck
of guys.
Treese, yeah, there's another
Sean
one.
Miller,
Yeah.
and, all
Yeah.
these. I don't know the actual details of the guys that were on the team then, but I remember I've been packing orders for Ambler Trophy
Yeah,
forever. I
forever,
mean,
yeah.
And
Was his name Al? What was
uh,
Ambler's Trophy?
no,
thing?
it was
What was that
Norm
guy's
Hamilton.
Norm, that's right.
Norm
Okay.
Hamilton.
Norm.
And Norm and Dad,
Yeah.
they had a unique.
Arrangement.
Well, not just
Well,
them,
they-
but they were both similar.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what
yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
They were hard edge, take care of everybody. They were into skate, taking care of the skaters. And it was Norm's. They had a killer. Like Willie Scions, I believe, did a lot of graphic arts. I'm not detailed with it. Willie and I talk about it frequently. In fact, I owe him a phone call. But Dad was making decks for those guys up there, and I believe wheels.
Uh-huh.
And Dad was like, "Well, it was Norm's idea to start branding Toxic."
Oh, okay.
So he went to Tom Peterson,
Oh my gosh.
and
Okay.
Tom was doing Hyper, right?
Right.
And I found this out later because Dad's done like 8 million things a year,
Yeah,
that
right.
different,
Always.
and out of the moving parts that we've got going on ourselves, he was like 7,000-fold compared to what we're doing.
Yeah.
It was massive. But so Jim Heath, the graphic artist that did the Toxic Wheel graphic
Okay.
art,
Yeah.
got in touch with us a couple years ago. He did this.
Oh, wow.
This is his art.
Show me. Oh, okay. Really?
This is Jim Heath's.
Close to the mic and
Wow,
show
wow,
us
wow,
game.
wow, wow,
This
wow.
is
Yeah.
Jim Heath's art.
Okay.
This is the acid rain
Is that the
art.
original art from back in the day?
Well,
Just
yeah.
redone?
I actually got his drawing
Okay.
of this from
Wow.
Atlanta.
Okay.
And he did this, Jax, he did this Top Secret original. And we're both, it was Acid Rain, which
Right.
we've got now, the Acid Rain wheel. And we just got a Top Secret wheel. Well, he did, Tom said, hey, look, I got these wheels. I need, it's this company Toxic. I need graphics for them. So, like tomorrow.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
said
of
it was
course.
like
It's always like that.
tomorrow.
Yeah, it's always like that.
So he went out and he created the graphics for the Effect, the Secret, the Top Secret, the Poison, the Waste, the Acid Rain, and there's one more.
So Acid Rain, that was from back in
88.
88. Okay. Yeah, because I know he's doing some acid wheels, isn't he?
Acid Chemical Company.
Oh, acid company.
Yeah,
Okay.
which I
Okay.
love. I mean,
All right. So you guys are friends, and there's not going to
Yeah.
be any.
No, it's
Anybody
people
about
it's people that use Toxic in their wheel descriptions, their
Right.
deck descriptions.
Yeah. Hey, what do you know? What do you remember about Chuck Barfoot and all the Barfoot boards? Because your dad was he distributing it? Was he owner of it? Did he help
Well,
Chuck out? How'd that go?
Dad never tells me exactly how that went along, but I was talking to Ernie about it, and
Okay, yeah, Ernie
Dad-
would know.
yeah, and Dad would have they would probably have different opinions on that, but
Yeah, okay, yeah, of course.
I know that. Okay, I was already out here. I was living on Silver Strand with Bernie and JJ. Bernie Thompson.
Silver Strand?
Yeah,
Here.
yeah. When Dad took over Brand X,
Yeah.
called me and says, "Get your shit packed. You're going to California tomorrow." I
Let's
was
go.
inland. I met hanging out with somebody, and I was skating a vert ramp and went to the airport the next day. Flew out to LAX. Stayed in a hotel for 2 days, waiting for them to get in touch with me. They were at the San Diego Zoo.
Yeah.
They called me at the hotel, picked me up on the way to Silver Strand. Brand X was in Ventura. On the way to Silver Strand, we stopped at Cyclone Surf Shop, picked up a used surfboard because Bernie knew I surfed. He lived right there.
Yeah.
Some of the surf.
Bernie did.
Bernie Tostenson.
Okay, and we're talking Silver Strand here, Coronado.
And Oxnard.
Oh, an Oxnard. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, man, I
keep
was just
forgetting
sitting there
there's a
going,
couple
yeah,
of 'em.
yeah. There's one here, and I'm like, well, that's where the Marines work out. You know,
Oh, yeah,
our
yeah.
Navy SEALs work out on
Right.
Silver Strand. So
Yeah.
anyway.
That definitely wasn't where I was.
yeah, I mean, I know they got some big surf that comes through there, but it's all beach break.
Yeah, but it
So-
was up there. So, Dad had picked up, Bernie's debt and moved him from one house to another. I did that
Okay.
while I was up there. We moved to another house and then set up a shipping department. And anyway,
Wow.
so about a month after that, month or two, that was September of '86. So maybe about October, and October, Dad flew out and said, "Hey, we're going to go up and look at this snowboard factory in Santa Barbara tomorrow." We went up to Chuck's, and I guess not too long after that,
He was an investor in it.
well, yeah, I think, yeah, I'm not sure what the extent is. I want to.
Well, I know those guys are friends, so it's all good.
Yeah.
And I know
Oh,
that he had a lot of snowboards in his warehouse, but
Oh,
one
yeah,
time.
yeah. No, Chuck.
So-
Chuck is rad. I mean, with Chuck,
I mean, Chucky had a lot to do with all the Sim stuff. He
Well,
was
Chuck
building all
and-
the Sims and stuff,
Chuck-
working with Tom.
Chuck and Tom are
Yeah.
both from New Jersey.
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
know all the details, but I know that Chuck and Tom were developing snowboards.
Yeah.
And then making their own, and they were way ahead of the. There's other people, rewriting history as they always do.
Yeah, man, they're rewriting everybody's
But
history.
you can't take away from those two.
No,
From
absolutely not, man.
but
Chuck was right there. I remember back in the Sims days, and Chuck was helping develop like most of everything. Tom was kind of the guy that I remember was testing everything
right.
and telling Chuck, and Chuck was kind of the guy working on a lot of that stuff, getting it done. I give Chuck a ton of credit, man. Like
Yeah,
like skateboards, snowboards, all that stuff. He was doing it.
yeah,
So
he's definitely, there's a big page in history. It needs to be
yeah, I know. Told man,
written
I'd love
on
to
it.
have Chuck down here and talk to him about stuff, man, because he's been a part of this thing for 50 plus years, man. It's pretty awesome. So anyway, what's up? All right, so we've got your toxic wheels,
Mhm.
right? You got a whole program. I was shocked when I saw how many wheels you guys do.
Yeah.
And who's making your wheels right now? Can I ask who is making all these things
Well,
for you
yeah,
right now?
of course. So, and Industries
Okay,
that now makes wheels, and they were in the same facility, I believe, as where Hyper was. So when
Right.
Tom got out,
right.
I believe they bought.
Him out,
Yeah,
maybe, or whatever, how that worked
exactly.
out. Yeah,
So when they were first working on samples for us and wheels that were still in HB, right up there next to
Right.
Jerry
Yeah.
Madrid, and they moved to Texas. They're in Hutto, Texas. So they were always working on developing the wheels for us. But they have a formula called Superthane. It's actually a patented formula, and it's another high resistance urethane like SPF or F4.
right.
So, and like the B formula from Creative Urethane. So they've been making wheels for us. Then we got Creative making wheels for us.
Okay,
So we're working with that B formula
okay.
and with the super thing.
Hmm.
And then we've got some standard urethanes. But our highest performance urethane, that stuff's expensive for
Yeah, I know,
us.
man. It's super expensive. Yeah, I know.
For us.
Especially at And,
Right. Right.
especially since they moved to Texas.
Right.
They
right.
saved money, but their
I
wheels
thought
went up too.
That should bring the price down.
Your
Yeah.
thing just happened to go up at the same time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they got some supply issues. I was going to ask you if you were having any of those, but
Well,
what's your relationship with the guys at And? I mean, do they answer your calls all the time when you call them and say, "Hey, hello, is somebody there?" Like, how's that working out?
I don't think anybody answers the phone anymore but us. We literally answer the fucking phone. We
Yeah.
respond to text. We
Yeah.
respond
Everything.
on social media. We
Yeah.
respond everywhere. And if we miss you, because, we both might be asleep at the same time.
Yeah, I will agree that you guys are really good on the social media. I
Right.
see posts every day, 3 or 4 times a day. So I don't know if you're in charge of that or if Amy's in charge of that, but you
Dude, if
guys
I
are,
was in charge of that,
okay. So Amy is the one that's on
Never
point.
done.
no,
as
you'd
always.
you'd see 30 posts at a time. And then 2 days later, another 30.
Yeah.
And then, so.
I just had somebody else that gets wheels done at and they just sit there and say, yeah, the great wheel. Unfortunately, they never answer their phones. Nobody ever calls us back, and we don't know what they're doing. So I didn't know if you were having the same problem with them or not.
Well, the COVID
So-
thing hit everybody, right? So, and it also created this opportunity to point to COVID
Yeah,
for
right.
For everything. So
Right. Blame
we just got decks picked up decks today.
Mm-hmm.
13 months ago, we
Wow.
ordered them.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you guys have a ton of inventory.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I know when I saw all the pictures of in your house, or I should say in your whatever living room.
Was in the living room. There's about
Yeah.
5,000 decks in there, but a little bit more now. But like we brought it, but I shipped out 400, yesterday or the day before.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of it's stock that's waiting for screen printing,
Yeah.
and the stock that's ready is moving. So we had to have it in inventory. Now the unique thing about us is since we had Chicken and Damon doing the screen print.
You got the best in the business. I mean, honestly, you guys have the best in the business with all your boards, making your boards. Your wheels come from the best factories. You're getting it done by Chicken, who's been doing it for World Industries and everyone for years and years. Like,
Decades.
yeah, man. I mean, like, how did you get all these contacts being an East Coast guy coming out here and being able to get into like all of the best
Well, I mean,
places? I mean,
a lot of that shit's just look, back in the day when I was making snowboards in the '90s and all that, it was all just name dropping. I was Little Dorsey, or it
yeah,
was
yeah,
Easy
yeah, yeah.
Access. You know what I mean? And even now, like, I met Chicken through Art H Street.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Art
Yeah.
brought me over there, and then and hooked me up, and then Damon, obviously from Watson. Now Watson Laminates, I hooked up with Jim in 2015 when I first started doing it, and I was living in Hawaii, and Jim was stoked.
Yeah.
We're first deck we did was the Weirdo
Yeah.
reissued,
Yeah.
and the Knucklehead. So he was stoked. That was easy. Um, hooking up with Paul was awesome because Paul called us back
Right.
after not being able, after we called him during COVID.
Right. Right. Right.
Right? He said,
Yeah.
"Man, I'm slammed."
Yeah.
Lo and behold, he does exactly what he said he was going to do.
Yeah.
And those guys are awesome.
Well,
Paul
I noticed too. You got stuff coming in even from Rob Dykema,
yeah,
and
yeah.
like that. I mean, Dykema has been making boards since the '70s,
Well,
and he comes up with some interesting designs. And but I haven't seen you guys have any of the golf ball looking
dimple decks.
dimple decks. Yeah, I
Well,
haven't
we
seen
sold
those.
out
And-
of them.
Oh, did you?
We'll be seeing Rob in another couple of days. I'm trying to get him up, go to lunch, or something, grab dinner.
Yeah.
Should have him come up here.
Oh man, I could. I ran into him about 2 weeks ago at the pump track. He came
Oh,
down
okay.
and was hanging out, and I was like, "What the heck is he? What's he doing here?" And I don't know. I guess he was just in the area, and he just popped in.
Yeah.
And I was like, "You're Rob, how you doing?" Like it's been a long time, but yeah, I would love to get Rob in here. That would be a really interesting conversation right there, man. Especially if he can remember everything. I know working at wood shop, smelling everything that goes through all those places, and especially back when you didn't have to have all the EPA stuff that they have now as far as sucking out everything that they had. But
Well, that's why he
you
could
know.
make money back then.
yeah, I know, right? I'm sure and he did probably really, really well at that time too.
Well,
So
and Rob's awesome. And those dimple decks are pretty gnarly.
yeah,
And
Yeah.
he's like a mad scientist, right?
yep,
And
he
then
is.
uh,
No, I'm just saying he is a mad scientist.
and then we on top of that, Max did four.
Yeah,
Gets
okay.
wood for us. Max has been awesome, and and every once
What,
in a while,
what is Max's company?
Woodchuck.
Woodchuck,
Laminate.
that's right. Woodchuck Laminates. And they're in Oceanside as well. Still, is he still in Oceanside then?
Yeah, he's in the back Transworld building now,
Oh, is that right? That's where he's
Yeah.
at? Okay, by the airport. Right where you're moving.
right next door.
Oh my God, that's where you're at?
He's right there. Max is right there. Borst is right there.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
All right, so you're gonna
We
be
have to get over
you're in
there
that
and
little
get
corridor right there then. So are you right there off of Foussette? Is that
It's
gonna be?
Foussette
Yeah.
Off airport.
and Mission.
Okay, you're right there?
Right there.
Oh no way. Osiris is like right there too.
That's what you
Yeah,
were telling me.
Yeah, right. You know
before.
there's a Mexican restaurant right there. And
Yeah.
right behind it, there's a bar and then Osiris. So anyway, yeah, I got to go stop over there and see those guys here pretty quick. So anyway, but yeah, okay, well that's good. Everybody's going back right there because that used to be the hub, and then people moved out, and now it sounds like everybody's moving back in.
Yeah,
So-
Climax was there. and
Yeah.
did the Climax thing. Anytime you get down there, see Linda. And then Diane will be over at Transworld.
Yeah. Yeah, all that. Okay, well that's cool. Now I know where you're at, and you're going to be moving in there in December. Is that right? Is that?
Yeah, well, we're in there now. We were talking to the contractor that's working for the landlord.
Okay.
Tearing out our wall and taking that drop ceiling out, and we want to keep those vents.
Yeah.
That ducting there. So we went over there and talked to him. We're gonna give us a bid on front and back wall and
Awesome.
some of the
Okay.
development. We might get in there quicker.
Well, I'm gonna say, man, because like I know when you first came here, you and I we hooked up and went to lunch at that Mexican restaurant down Oceanside, and you took me to your first location, where you were peddling and selling all the boards out of, and then after that, about I don't know 3 to 6 months later, we talked, and you said, oh, we got a new place, and now I guess you've been there probably a year and a half, 2 years.
Well, which place were you at? You were at when we were in that condo.
Yeah, the
condo.
condo. Yeah,
Then we moved.
to a house down the street.
Yeah, we moved into that house because you
Yeah.
couldn't find anything that made sense to move into.
Right.
We found that
Yeah.
house. Was looking on. What do you look on that site?
Yeah.
Let's-
Yeah.
So I was looking on it and found this house, and the floor plan on the bottom floor was wide open, and there's that big ass garage.
Yeah.
We went over and looked at it, and we can set all these racks up.
Yeah.
We tell the landlord, right?
Yeah.
And we just padded the whole floor, set up racks, and turned it into a warehouse.
Perfect.
And and then we found this place. So when we found this place, we moved up the road.
Yeah, that's perfect, man. I
We're
mean,
about a mile away from it.
the good news is it's growing in the right direction, and you guys are gonna have like a real house again. We have furniture instead of sitting on skateboards.
Yeah.
Pallets of skateboards.
It's like,
You know.
the living room becomes one of the spare bedroom.
Yeah. Yeah, you get your surfboards back in your house instead of outside.
Where do I got those at? I got them in the garage.
Yeah, okay. You got them stacked in the
So,
garage.
yeah.
Okay, well that's fair. That's a good place to have it. But yeah, no, I was really stoked. I run into you at all the events. It seems like, except for SkaterCon. I haven't been to that yet. I almost went this
Well, you
year,
were
but
working. You were jammed up.
Yeah,
and I was trying to
yeah.
get footage for you. I remember
Yeah,
you needed it, and
Yeah.
I couldn't get. The guy that was there just didn't pull it off.
yeah,
I
well,
couldn't because I was jammed up.
right. Well, next year hopefully we're gonna go to that and go hang out and see everybody at that. But there's just like when I saw you at Surf Expo, you guys had sponsored. I don't know if it was Brand X or Toxic that sponsored the skateboard event that was going on
Right.
there.
The vert ramp. What was that ramp called?
No, it was
It
was like
goat
a
ramp.
Yeah, okay.
The goat ramp.
The goat ramp.
Yeah,
Okay.
that actually is a nice ramp. Yeah, we sponsored the ramp there. That was a nice little ramp.
Yeah.
But and that was
And what I don't understand is how come your booth was like 2 booths aisles in? I love the ramp because my booth was sitting right in front of it.
right. Yeah,
I wasn't signed up before you guys did.
No, it was just another one of those shady ass switch ups.
Oh, okay, you got that?
Happened.
One with
Yeah.
skateboarding.
Yeah,
No, yeah.
exactly.
Hey, that happened to me the next year. I thought I was at a new location and they just put me in another location and you don't find out until you get there and you're like, well, son of a... I wanted to be back where I signed up for that I paid my money for.
Right.
And then I'm at another location. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
I'll talk to them when they come by. And that was kind of the reason why we didn't go back, back to
Yeah,
Surf Expo on it.
we didn't
because-
go back because it was
yeah.
a bust.
Oh, okay.
You and I talked about that.
Yeah.
It was bad. It was after COVID, and there wasn't, back to those shady setups. I'm like Dad. I fucking remember, and it doesn't matter how, but it will.
Oh,
It doesn't even matter.
that's funny. I remember.
I'll never forget.
Oh, I remember. Well, you know what? They just got to work harder to get you back. That's how I look at it.
It's not about that. I
know.
somewhere, some restaurant, some event.
Yeah.
You remember how Dad used to do it? Except I don't have that kind of clout.
Yeah. Well, your dad, that was a whole different thing. I'm not even going to get into that thing. So, anyway, well, I noticed that you're bringing back a lot of reissue boards,
Right.
and so let's touch on that. Who's coming up? Got writers that you're bringing their boards back right now.
Right. We've
So-
been having fun with that. Well, We just did Art and Steve Godoy's deck,
Okay.
which we did a small run of them because we wanted them for the
Okay.
upcoming
Should I be?
skater
Should I be?
con.
Okay. All right. So what's a small run? What's
We,
that
we
mean?
only ran 50. We were going to run a
Okay.
few hundred of them,
Okay.
but we wanted to make sure we made skater con. So
Right. Okay.
the
Gotcha.
decks that are ordered in the colors
Uh-huh.
that we presented them as, we sold them as, or we offered them as, aren't even ready. So we took some of our stock we had
Okay.
and
Well, wait a minute. I just saw are you gonna do you had Darren Mendito,
yeah,
and he's still ripping. I've seen a lot of footage of him lately, and I was just like, holy shit, he's killing it again.
we just sent Darren decks,
Okay.
Toxic logo decks, and M wheels, and we had just done the Darren. Did I bring a moose? No, and we reproduced his original shape. That one
Okay.
right there.
Yeah.
And we call it the moose shape. That's his nickname, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So Darren, that graphic there is his second graphic. Now we're doing the cat graphic. We already have that one.
Was that
in
original
stock.
artwork? Original artwork just redone.
Yeah.
Okay. Rad.
And that artwork's being redone right now.
Okay.
And yeah, we got to get some footage of Darren. Darren's he's an emergency room doctor. He's a doctor.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
For real.
Dude,
Good for Darren, man.
Darren is gnarly.
Yeah.
And Darren's brought me riders. Like he's brought Amy and I some sick riders. Like we got Jordan Beverly and Alex Desmond. Those are some
Yeah.
Atlantic, Philly, New York guys,
Yeah.
and
They're killing
just
it. Are you gonna do
brutal
like a
chargers.
video or anything of these guys?
Yeah,
and
well,
start selling with their
we're
boards.
actually
and-
working on that.
Okay.
Amy's brother
Okay.
is
Videographer or
some people will know him in this industry. Is Whitey McConaughey. He used to work for Big Brother,
Okay.
Trans World photo editor. He's done a ton of videos. He did all those opening videos to the Tony Hawk game. The
Okay.
guns.
Yeah. Wow, big time.
He's pretty gnarly. Look him up. But he came down and did some shoots and did some ads for us, and we're talking to him about doing a video, getting something together. So we're working on that. It's going to be a little bit more. If we do it, it's going to be done right.
Yeah, I mean, you guys should
we're
do
not-
it. It's not that expensive anymore,
Mhm.
and it kind of takes. So I would love to see that again, and somebody start pushing that. I just think that kids would be super stoked to be able to get they'd be like, "What the heck is this, man?" And put it in a board and put it in the shrink wrap and put a video out again, man. I just think that would be unique marketing,
It's
and I mean, it's relatively cheap once you get all the footage.
right.
But you see so much good footage. In my opinion, it's wasted on social media now. You know what I mean? It's just wasted.
It does get burned
Because
out.
you get to see it, and some people never even get to see it. But if you put it back into a video and do it, you go old school like that, especially with your brand, you can do that because that's how they sold boards back then. That was the whole
Yeah,
thing.
Toxic. Every deck came with a video part
Yeah.
for the rider.
Yeah, I mean that would be so sick to do again, and get that and bring that kind of thing back. And like I said, I mean all these guys have footage and stuff. It's not hard to put it. This are like 50 cents. You know what I mean? And okay, so it adds that much cost, but just the coolness factor to me would bring back that kind of thing. They got Everslicks back. They got all this kind of
Oh,
stuff that
no.
they came back with, and I'm super stoked. Are you doing any transfer boards? Or are you doing all screen print? Because these graphics I'm looking at are insane screen printing.
Well, this is
That's so
this is
clear.
screen printed.
Yeah.
We just picked these up
Well,
here,
this is the same as what you have up on the board right
Yeah.
now. Okay.
and that's actually on a moose shape. That's on a 9-1
Okay.
template of a Grosso shape.
Okay. Wow.
9-1 Grosso. And
I mean,
you can't fight perfection.
Yeah.
That
I
shape's
mean,
one of my favorites.
yeah.
And then this one we picked up today from.
Yeah.
Picked this up. This is the XCOM from Damon today. Amy went down. She's
Okay.
talking
Yeah.
lumber packing.
Yeah.
cardboard. I don't know if you can see on this thing. It's midnight.
It's got metal flake in
It's
it.
got metal.
It's
flakes
super
in it.
sick, man. It's like
In the center. Put it up forward so the camera can see it.
Yeah, a little bit
Pick it up.
more. Hey, we
Pick
can
it
show
up,
it to
yeah.
you right now, but
Now, the camera can pick it up.
can
Oh,
it?
there you
Okay,
go.
yeah. You can see that. Hey, man, our cameras aren't too bad, are they?
You got 9 color
Yeah.
separations in this.
9
thing.
color seps, man.
And
That's
this is,
expensive to do, man.
And that's Bernie Tostenson's art.
Wow.
All the
That's
brand
original.
names.
That's the original guy
Yeah.
from back in the day.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
I just sent you
Yeah.
pictures of me and Bernie that I bought.
Yeah. Danny Reardon's board.
This is Denny's. This is
Yeah,
10
Denny's.
color set.
Oh my gosh, man.
And Bernie did this one as well when it was cryptographic.
And this is screen printed.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, man.
And this
Chicken has to love you guys.
this
But look at the work chicken.
I know, man. Oh, I know.
Well,
I know.
This one's chicken. This one's chicken.
Yeah.
And this ex-con here,
Yeah.
that's Damon.
Okay.
And this is Damon.
Okay. Well, Damon's done always good work, and he's he's run that screen print department down there forever.
Yeah,
You know,
he
you
does,
know.
he does glow in the dark. Damon, Chicken will do like gnarly fades, split fountains, just incredible colors. Like on the top graphic alone. That's why we did the top graphic so
Yeah,
big.
great fade.
You look at the fades on
Yeah.
these things.
Yeah,
Um,
it's amazing. Yeah, those
But
guys,
this is-
those guys have been in the industry forever. They've been doing this stuff forever. So yeah,
Right.
they're again, man. It's just it's the best of the best, man.
So
Like-
Damon was doing it over. I think he was doing it California Zorlak for Dave,
Right?
right?
Yeah.
So, and then I guess he went over with Todd Tomietta and then Watson. Todd got Watson, I guess.
Yeah.
So then, just out of these graphics, we've probably done about, I'd say 20, 30 different versions of like 60 graphics already in the last 3 years.
Wow.
And it's constant. And that's why what it is now that we've got Damon and Chicken and now Paul Heiser.
These are full dip boards too.
Yeah, that was a Halo. This one's
Yeah.
dip.
Yeah.
Now that we got stains as well. So I think that's
Yeah.
a dip. So now that we have them, we have the freedom to bring 3 different shapes.
Yeah.
Or 4 different shapes or 2 different shapes. Whatever doesn't drive them crazy because then they got to switch shit up. You know how it is.
Yeah, man. I mean, just these boards is 10 passes on each board or 11 passes on
Right.
some of this, because you got to have the one. I mean, that takes forever to do, man, because
Right.
you can't do anything until the other one dries. Oh my gosh, man.
And
Well-
now what we're doing now is we're doing our team setups.
No.
Oh yeah. We're doing now what we're doing.
two?
We're doing those. We're gonna have we've got some transfers being made. We just had Max apply some for us, and we'll probably have Max do some. And we have a couple other people.
But wait a minute. Okay, so wait, what's Max doing?
We had him apply some toxic logo deck transfers.
Oh,
to
okay,
our
so you
pops,
are doing some.
to our pops.
Okay.
So
When you say pops, what are we talking about here?
standard skateboard.
Okay, all right.
Popsicle
Popsicle stick. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
I don't
Like,
know what to call
I didn't
them.
know you guys. I didn't even know you guys did popsicles.
Dude, I'm fucking
So-
old. I don't know what to what are these. You know what people call them? Skateboards.
Yeah, skateboards. Street boards, right?
I call these.
Like,
I call them
yeah.
all skateboards,
Yeah.
but I got to distinguish them somehow, right?
Yeah, right.
So we call this a Danny. We call this
Yeah.
the ripstick shape.
Yeah.
We call this riot stick shape. We call that the Grosso.
Yeah.
We have a name
Yeah,
for
yeah, of
each
course.
shape, right? So
I'm glad you keep that Grosso in there too, man. That's good.
Yeah, well, we got an 875, 91, and a 925 so far. So, but the transfers we're doing on those on a standard deck because there's no need to screen print. Screen printing's going for our retro shapes, and our
Right.
retro decks. So we're trying to appeal to a bigger market. We're trying to appeal to shops that are going to want to bring in, a standard deck.
Yeah, I mean, just the fact. Collectors. This is what collectors want. They want screen printed boards, and because nobody else, not a lot of people are doing this. And
Right.
I don't know how many people are doing 10 color graphics on any company. I mean, even the best companies, like maybe Santa Cruz might do a 6 or an 8, but I don't think they're doing 10.
And
That's
I think
just
Chicken said somebody up there had like a 13 color. I don't know.
okay. So
It could be Cliver. I don't know Cliver, or
yeah,
maybe even Dogtown. Uh, But those
yeah, but they
guys,
might do one. Like most of your boards seem like they're 8, 9, 10, 12 colored graphics. It's just
well,
unbelievable, man.
and
It
believe it
really
or
is.
not, we cut one out of this.
Yeah, you cut one out, one
One,
color out. Oh
it
my
was a
gosh,
back
man.
pass. It wasn't necessary, but
Okay. Yeah, it was the black outline, maybe. No, that's there. Never mind.
no, it's
My
all
bad.
in there,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. I can see. I'm just like, oh my gosh,
It
man.
it was a fucking curve, dude. It was one hell of a curve because we had first off in 2015. I had no idea how to retrieve these graphics.
Yeah,
And the way I ended up doing it, we were talking about the barfoots.
yeah,
I was back east. I was in the back warehouse. With Dad, I'd go over there and, whether I was working over there or I was dialing some things in for Penny, just rearranging the warehouse, right?
right.
Um, so
You're snooping, going through it. What else is in
no,
there?
no. In fact, but you're talking 2014.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
wasn't. That was just inventory.
Yeah,
Like I knew how many extra hard clear tracker top bushings were to the exact number.
yeah, of
When
course.
I went in
Yeah,
8 years later, I go, "That's how many are in there." They were. It was even written on the fucking box.
yeah.
And
You
it
haven't
was
sold one since 2014,
735 of them.
Oh boy.
Still remember.
Yeah.
But that's what happens when you've counted shit.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
space.
Yeah.
So back when you were there, I put a pallet of returns from Barfoot in the back warehouse.
Yeah.
And back when I come back in the summer and skate the steel ramp and
Yeah.
stuff. So I was still living out here. I remember putting a pallet back, and it was still in that back. That was what, 92, 91, maybe 92. And then same time, Dad had me pack up all his old boards like Maharajas, rib sticks, stuff he made,
Right.
solar decks, Dogtown. There's old shit that he had in market. Put it over top of the bathroom in that one back warehouse. I had the
Yeah,
two back
yeah,
warehouses
yeah,
and the
yeah.
front warehouse.
Yeah.
So he goes, "Why don't you go pull those snowboards down? See if you can sell them online." I'm going to sell a bunch of snowboards. I had zero idea there was
Yeah.
some collectors.
Oh, yeah,
fucking
man.
market.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
had zero. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I've watched Dad throw away, and everybody in the industry throw shit
Burn it.
away.
Yeah.
Cut it in half because
Yeah.
there's just no room, or,
Right.
or
Yeah.
there's a fucking cease and desist, whatever
Yeah.
the case,
Whatever
whatever the fucking case may be, right?
Right.
So, people don't get that. You were moving hundreds of thousands of skateboards almost sometimes daily, weekly. As a distributor from each of these
Companies, yeah,
entities,
yeah.
right? So anyway, and I had to deal. I unloaded these roadway trucks.
Yeah.
So, and Dad always had people to do it, but when I was there,
Mm.
so I pulled down this pallet of snowboards, and it was a bunch of the ones from the Rochester factory, Snow Tech, where
Okay.
Ernie was at.
Yeah.
And it was the wooden ones. There was
Yeah.
there were 17 of them. There might have been 14. It's 14 or 17. There's 64 snowboards on that pallet total. One picture of the pallet. Posted it on Vintage Snowboard Trader.
Yeah.
Within 10 minutes, everybody that bought those things was in my inbox.
Yeah.
For the next 3 weeks, I had to figure out who was getting what. Then there
Yeah,
were no
yeah,
more
yeah.
fucking snowboard
Yeah.
boxes. I had to make boxes.
Right.
You know.
Double up skateboard boxes. Yeah, I get it.
Oh man, and that, and
And then that's
doesn't
when it
matter
began.
how long you've been packing shit.
Yeah.
Anyway. So that's how. And so then I walked up to the back warehouse where Dad parks the cars in
Yeah.
the front.
Yeah.
I said, "Dad, what are you doing with Brand X?" And first it was Brand X, and he goes, I I fucking own it, you know. And I go, well, what about all the intellectual property? I bought it when I bought it from Bernie.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a personal thing for him because, you know, he didn't want anything to do with it. He got into it because he was 3,000 miles away. So anyway, so that's why I went out there. But anyway, in '86.
Right.
So anyway, I sold those snowboards. There's a lot of Boyers that were pulled that came out of Taylor Dykema.
Right.
And then, you know, some of the twin tips and a lot of stuff that came out of Rochester and a lot of stuff that came out of Taylor Dykema. And I think I made 24 grand.
Yeah.
Just
Shh,
figuring
quiet.
that out. Most of them were returned because you know,
It's worth 50,000 now.
you couldn't find them anymore. So Dad gave me a third of it, and you know, he split it with me 3 ways. And I was like, well, you know, what if, you know, I started digging. Maybe I've time to reissue these fucking skateboards. Nah, dude, if I knew then what I know now, not as far as I would have got, I would have pumped the brakes. Because you had to dive in, you had to recreate artwork. You had to, and back then you were taking pictures of the art, having it converted.
Yeah, you had to because
But then it looks like shit.
Yeah.
We have to have everything redrawn.
Are you having like Ruby? Like, then how are they cutting and screening all this stuff?
Not like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Not like that. And that's another problem we're hitting. Nobody knows how to fucking trap art for skateboards anymore.
That's so true.
Except for those guys who have been doing it for 30 years. Those guys,
Chicken's the only one.
Yeah, Chicken knows, man.
And Chicken's the only one. And it's
Damon too. Damon knows what he's doing on that too.
Damon's not trapping it.
Yeah,
though.
okay. He says bring it to me that way, huh?
Yeah, right. Well, no, Damon's, you know, Damon's badass, but as far as that goes, that's that's one of those fucking things we'd really like to streamline.
Yeah.
Because that causes hiccups, man. It stalls things out. Chicken has to go and redo it, and then we don't, so it's something I want to fucking get dialed in.
All right. Well, just real quick, what else are you relaunching right now? We've got Toxic back, got Brand X back.
Mm-hmm.
What else? I hear something else about a big thing that's coming right now.
Well, we got the high energy.
Okay, we got high
This is all
energy.
the old crypto
Yeah, but there's something bigger I'm hearing about. What is the bigger one? What is the bigger one? Are we letting it out tonight or what?
We got that. We got the Anthrax
The
deck out again,
band. Okay.
and they're stoked. And we've got the 2022 version of the original '87 graphic we did, and fucking stoked. Everybody's amping, on that, and on top of that, we hooked up with Exodus, and that's been we didn't expect it.
Yeah.
So now we've got an Exodus wheel.
Man,
That Exodus
those things
wheel-
look great, man. Too. Those things look amazing.
Guess who fucked around and made that work?
Tell me. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my
I mean,
gosh.
we had a graphic artist deal with it, but
Yeah.
he's the one that said that.
This is what we want, huh?
Her fucking eyes pick that shit out every time. Amy gets it all dialed in.
What's made that?
The boss did
No,
it,
she
man.
didn't make it. She made.
Well, no, but she made the concept.
That was
She developed the concept and put it on paper for it.
Actually, she made it on the computer.
Well, in the
And
computer,
that's another
but yeah.
thing. She'll fucking figure out Photoshop.
Yeah.
These guys aren't telling me I'll figure it out. If she figures out,
Yeah.
it's every time. And it's the same thing. She'll ask, well, honey, which graphic do you like? Which graphic? What do you think we should? I'm like, you pick it. Because she's going to pick the best one.
Well, you guys have done an amazing job bringing all this stuff back. I have to say, colors, the boards, fact that every one of these things is made at a top supplier all the way across the board. You guys have held back nothing. Kudos to you guys, man.
Well, we went in deep.
Yeah. These things are one day going to be sought after. That's how I look at it. As far as collectibles and part of skateboard history, man, because this stuff goes back to 86 is when I know he bought it, but it came out even before that.
83 started. 83 started with Bud Fawcett.
Yeah.
Bud was at Vision, and and Bernie was Tom Sims' graphic artist. He did all those Sims art. And then, as Bud told me, he goes, "Yeah, we started it with my $10,000 credit card limit." And they went to work. And, Bud's a gnarly photographer.
Yeah.
Snowboard photographer.
Yeah.
I don't want to get up there and see him. But we talk a lot. He sent some really cool stuff to us. And you ever check out his Instagram? He's got all the old snowboard stuff.
I'm gonna get that from you.
It's awesome. I see it every day. I'm like, and
Do you know it off by hand?
Bud Fawcett.
Is it just under his name?
Yeah.
How do you spell his last name?
Faw.
Okay. All right. Just in case anybody wants to check out and see some history of some old skateboard graphics, the whole bit.
Great photography.
So, and photography, yeah, everything. But that's a lot of skateboard history right there you're talking about. Which is we're gonna get it, man. But
do it again.
There's guys like
over. There you go.
Tom Francis, I know you're out there, and here it is, so you can go through some a little more history for you, because I know how much he's backing it.
Amazing stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
All right.
from Tom to Chuck to, and then all those guys. Probably Scott Klum, I'd say.
Oh, Scott, yeah, Clum too.
Yeah. He's got Tom Palmer and stuff.
Yeah, well, all the big hitters, man, no question. All right, let's see. What have I missed? What else is there?
Yeah.
Pops,
look
man.
At
Look at that, man. Look at that. It's your twin.
Yep.
That's your twin right there, man.
Except he'd tell me to get a fucking haircut.
Oh, of course he would. No, I was just wondering. Yeah, we've got, thank. Who are we thanking as far as like doing all this, recreating it? You got wood shops. You got, guys like Chicken. Sure, you want to give shout outs to. There's Patrick Surfing. Yeah, somewhere.
Yeah. That's how you cool off.
There you go, man.
But well, first off, it's Amy. Amy's
She's the backbone.
She's just gnarly. Like all these orders, like she's so dialed in. It's like if anyone in the industry 20, 30, 40 years ago had her behind them,
They'd be successful. Blow up.
You'd have islands named after skateboard companies. That's how gnarly she is.
Yeah.
No exaggeration.
Yeah.
But and of course my father taught me everything. Whether I adhered to it at the time or
Right.
not.
Yeah. Well, it takes some people a little bit longer,
And I know I was nothing but a headache and more to him at times.
Absolutely.
And you know that.
I remember. Yeah.
And
That's all part of growing up.
Yeah.
Just took you till you were a little bit older.
Yeah, about 56.
Yeah. Yeah.
To be honest.
Probably have to agree with that too, man. Actually, wait a minute. You know what? I think you've never really grown up, have you? Though.
Nah, fuck
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
If you haven't grown up by 50, you're never going to grow up.
Well, let's say I'm a little more focused.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, that's because you got somebody making you focus.
Well,
too.
no, that really has nothing to do with actual training. It has more to do with, it's easy.
Yeah.
It's an entirely different. Like our relationship is entirely different than it's. She says the same thing.
Yeah.
And all the shit we're doing, dude, since COVID, 24/7, 24/7.
Yeah, I know, man.
24/7.
I know.
And our arguments consist of
Where do you want to go to dinner?
of wood. No, actually, food's never it. It's usually her calling me out on something.
Yeah.
And our arguments aren't arguments.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I
Right.
don't think we've ever actually had an argument.
Yeah. That's good.
So it's ridiculous that you're heading towards 6 decades and you realize it's how easy things can be, but that's what it takes. And her and I are fucking perfect. And
Good. Awesome, man. That's awesome to hear.
so it's her, dad, and as far as work goes, you have Watson, you have woodchuck laminates, you have Paul,
Yeah.
Paul Schmidt,
Yeah.
and Jose, and
Don't know Jose.
the guy's gnarly. It works with Paul.
Oh, okay.
He's awesome. Those
Okay.
guys are like,
Yeah.
they're a very rare thing in this industry we have nowadays. The way they handle things. No, I mean it's
Yeah.
unique. Everything.
There's a reason why
Attention to every single detail.
There's a reason why
No
he's in the
fail.
Hall of Fame, man.
Right.
Right.
Right. I was there when you got
Yeah.
into. You both got in at the same
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Yeah. We were there.
But Paul had a speech.
Yeah.
It was like a half an hour, or I don't know, 45-minute speech. Yeah, I remember.
And
Yeah.
then, of course, Screaming Squeegee's Chicken's been an
Yeah.
enormous help. Paul Heiser, Tina's Americanos. That's you have End Industries, Creative Urethane.
That's amazing. You guys are still working with Creative because they've been around in the game a long time. And I know those guys were the guys who started you making wheels.
Yeah, Dick Heightfield.
Yeah, Dick Heightfield, man.
Dick
That was like late 70s, man. That's how long it was.
I've
So-
got the durometer gauge.
Oh,
that
do you?
Dick
Okay.
Gave that, or
The
Dad sent it
the
to
A
me.
scale
Yeah,
or the B scale?
The A scale. The one Dad would get pissed. He'd tell him, he goes,
Yeah.
"Look, no, these aren't
Yeah,
89.
Right.
You're full of shit."
Yeah.
And he would do it on every wheel.
Of
He'd
course.
throw them on every
Yeah.
box. Wrong durometer, wrong
Yeah.
durometer,
Yeah.
wrong durometer. So, yeah, those are funny. Yeah, Dick used to fly because Creative's in Virginia.
Right.
We're in Ocean City, Maryland, and Dick would fly his wheels in his plane, West Ocean City. But yeah, Creative's awesome.
Yeah.
And then you got people like the people that got me in the whole game, which consequently made Dad was the whole thing, the whole Marlowe family, Josh Marlowe, still one of my good friends. It's Mark Hordeman one time who built all our vert ramps. Mark, Jimmy McNulty, Donna McNulty, those guys, they're not with us anymore, either one of us. Mark Pendleton.
There's a lot of people, man. You
Those
come across through the years, man.
Mickey Carmody. Did
Yeah.
you ever meet
Nope.
Mickey when you were back there?
No.
That's who used to make OC skateboards.
Oh, yeah.
He actually made them one of the bottom room hotel one winter.
Wow.
Same year that Dave Powell, who did the Ocean Bowl art and the original Atlantic,
Yeah. Logo.
right
Yeah,
here.
yeah. Yeah.
Dave Powell, the
Yeah.
artist, lived in the bottom floor too. So Dave Powell as well, Jack Marlowe, Greg, and Bill. And I don't want to get anybody because there's a million fucking
I know. You're just gonna have to just
Rusty
Rusty, man.
Hagen,
Good for Rusty, man. I like that guy.
the fucking red-haired Mike Tyson.
Yeah. Yeah, I never looked at him like that, but he was, man.
He was a little
Yeah.
gnarlier, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, it was a little bit gnarlier.
I know the
That
police.
Norwegian blood.
I know. Every policeman in Ocean City knew Rusty. For one way or another, man.
Right, well,
yeah.
Sandbar.
Yeah, I know.
We used to,
Yeah.
whenever you had to, one time always has this. Dude, that year I had to walk the alleys. That many times, got one things for every. Yeah, and one time would say, anytime you're walking the alleys, you already know what it is. You had a warrant.
Yeah.
Right? But
Too many parking tickets, things like that.
just not going to court for something else stupid.
For
So it
surfing
just
in the
gets-
wrong
So it just
place.
gets stupid
Yeah,
more. It just builds up. But the thing is, when you got arrested in Ocean City, they took you all the way to Snow Hill, which was, you were stuck there for a couple days, which sucked.
Where the heck is Snow Hill? I never heard of it.
That's why you never heard of it while you were there.
Well, I never got arrested when
And
I was
you never
there.
got in
So.
trouble.
Yeah, I never did.
It's the county seat,
Yeah.
or hours.
Okay.
But you
Is
know,
it past Berlin or is it like toward Annapolis that way or is
no,
it?
no, it's past Berlin,
Okay.
but south.
Okay.
Down, you know,
Okay.
if you go out into like Route 113, you go
Yeah.
south.
Okay.
It's not too far.
Been a long time.
It's probably
I remember the
easier.
50. That's about it.
It's probably easier than Orange County. At least Orange
Okay.
County, they let you out when it's too late to catch a bus and nobody's picking you up and you're stuck. Fucking
I love all this, personal information that you're giving because how would you know that, Patrick?
shit happened. Yeah, come on. I did a lot of stupid shit. Actually, I did a lot of fun stuff.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
turned out to be not so
Agreeable with society.
Well, yeah, legal.
legal.
Anyway,
That's a whole nother.
right. That's a whole
podcast.
nother podcast. Well, we're going to start on the next one in about 5 minutes, so keep that in
Oh,
fresh.
shit. But yeah, you know, and you
Oh,
were saying
man.
we're just all the OC crowd. You know, there's a lot of people that are around now that are supporting.
Dave Messick guy.
Dave Messick's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
You know, Dave's always been. You had a picture of a goofy footer carving the bowl earlier. That's George Bonds. That's
There's little Patrick.
look. Dad's got that
Yeah.
skateboard in his office.
Does he? Still
set
has it
up
there?
with yep.
Yeah.
So, and that's behind that. That's Wade Reiner.
Yeah.
On the Go For It wall.
Okay.
Wade's awesome. The whole Reiner family. Troy
Yeah.
Purnell, who lived on the corner, and I didn't mention Michelle Purnell. Troy, when I mentioned everybody living there,
Yeah.
they lived right on the corner of Surf Avenue, which is right next door to us, basically. Troy took that picture.
Rad.
Unreal surfer, the families, and that's George Bonds.
Is that right? Okay.
George Bonds is Job Bonds online. He took all the photos of us skating.
Oh,
He
okay.
traveled.
I have a whole lot of photos of you, man, from skating the Ocean Bowl, skating the blue ramp, the steel ramp, that time, and we just
where'd you get those?
well, you sent me a couple. There's a
Oh.
couple of them that are online that I found.
I didn't
as well.
I don't have any of
You know,
blue
you were-
steel ramp.
You were, a power skater at the time. I remember you flying over my head multiple times at the Ocean City Halfpipe when I was skating there with you. That was probably 91.
Yeah.
One of your trips back.
That was a fun ramp.
Yeah.
Sergi skate
Oh.
that place a lot.
Yeah, Serge. I saw Serge there before. So, yeah.
We didn't mention those guys.
Yeah, the
That
Virginia Beach guys,
crew
man.
is
Yeah.
gnarly.
Yeah.
Midget, Rossini, Eddie and Glenn, Gutierrez, just
Gutierrez,
which are
yeah.
doing rad
Yeah.
shit with Embassy now, and
Yep.
and Alan's son, Nathan Midget.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't know.
The fucking Embassy guys are.
Embassy guys. Yeah, but
Rodney
that's-
Mead
Yeah, Rodney.
and Rodney's riding Toxic Wheels right now.
Oh,
too.
good.
Yeah, so we sent him down some.
He posts a lot of stuff on Facebook. I see that.
Yeah, he's running the Facile down there. The
Oh, is he?
Florida
Really?
Skate League. Yeah, he's doing
Well, good for him, man.
a good job at it. And
Kurt
yeah.
Kimball, is that a name you remember?
yeah, I remember that.
Okay, because I know he's like he was really involved with everybody up in the Baltimore, Annapolis area, running contests and stuff.
Yeah.
So that was like a year ago. I remember about a year ago. His kids were ripping too.
Oh, rad.
So,
Yeah, those
anyway.
good. Yeah, it's a get a good scene, man. I get stoked when I think about it. I mean, I think about it all the time, but when you're talking about it,
Yeah.
it starts to drag out.
Start remembering a little bit more too.
Yeah,
One thing leads to another.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking.
Awesome. Okay. Well, anyway, man, I wanted to thank you for coming. I wish you like all the continued success with Toxic, with Brand X, with your new Anthrax that's coming out as well. That's gonna be Exodus. Sorry, I think I missed one more
Well, we got a couple surprises
coming up.
we got quite a few things. We got better at not blowing our wad because
Yeah.
you know we started posting and then everybody's like, hey, well, why can't I? And then they beat you down and we don't have a staff.
Right.
Just
I
us
know, man.
running
There's two
shit.
of you doing this whole thing, man. So I know that's full time plus. I know you guys are beating your head on the wall, especially during the COVID thing and trying to get boards and people being closed and not being able to get materials, and there was a lot going on, and all the companies are suffering. And now there's just such a over supply of a lot of the big guys. I know
Right.
that those guys are sitting on hundreds of thousands of boards.
Well, a lot of the big
So-
guys dumping wood.
Yeah.
Because they had to.
Yeah.
Can't blame them because, they got the COVID inventory is
Yeah,
what I'm
that's
calling
right.
it.
Yeah,
you
you're
got all
late.
and everybody got everything all at once.
That's right.
And so that
Really,
that hurts things.
that hurts the market, man. I no
hurts the
question about
market.
it.
So fortunately for us, we're unique.
Yeah.
And we've got our own
Niche. You got your own niche in there, man.
and our own people that are die hard, and that's one thing we got to thank is our customers.
Yeah.
Some die
Beautiful,
hard
man.
customers.
That's a great one right there.
They've been awesome, and I could name them all forever.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll get you a list, man. We'll just tell everybody, like, okay, for the next 45 minutes, Patrick's going to thank every one of the guys who's ordered a board, bought
Put it
board,
all
supported
on
them
the wall.
up. Yeah. Well, anyway, you could just do one blanket thank you then
Of
for
course.
all of them. So,
Yeah, we
anyway.
appreciate
We're
you
just
guys.
throwing all the names
Yeah.
out. But
Yeah.
I'll figure that.
Just do it real fast, like they do credits
Like,
now.
just point to that person and that person.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway.
well, of course we appreciate you guys. I mean, you guys are everything to us. Wouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
It's not about, certainly not about, it's definitely not about making money. I'm going to tell you that. Because, yeah, hell of a lot easier.
Yeah, well, this is what builds character. That's all. It's a character builder. Nobody gets rich in skateboarding. Not anymore. Not right now, that's for damn sure.
It's definitely, anybody that thinks there's money to be made off of it, that's like hook me up,
Yeah.
bro, send me some fucking coffee.
Yeah.
Send me a
Well,
bag of coffee. They
I-
didn't ask me to hook you.
I know how much these boards cost. And
Yeah,
these,
you know
these are
exactly what it
expensive, man.
Oh,
You know. So I know decks went up price wise at all the wood shops have all raised their prices.
paint
too.
went up.
Paint went up,
Yellow
glue
paint,
went
yellow
up,
went
everything. You're just trying
Yellow
to find
paint
it.
went
Yeah.
up. Glue went up.
Yeah,
and-
everything.
but we try to keep it in that for our comfort, our customers. We want to keep it
Yeah, absolutely. But
realistic for them.
good luck.
It's been
I was looking at some of the prices online of your boards, and I was like, it's absolutely reasonably lower price than what I thought because I know how much you have into these boards because I know what it is, and I know you guys aren't getting your full margin,
Yeah.
but I know that because of
you make
13,
these things.
12 color and everything else, man. Each one of those passes is a buck. I mean, that's pretty much it, man.
You know,
So it says $13 just in screen printing right there.
the little things like you're paying for poly bags from the
Oh,
wood
yeah.
shop, and then you're paying for shrink wrap from the,
Yeah,
and the little things.
Yeah,
And then
absolutely.
you stickers. Everybody gets,
Yeah.
shit. Our customers get a bag of cake.
All right.
And most of them get rip grip too. I
Yeah.
ran out the last couple of days. I got to go to the,
Go get some new grip.
well, I have to stash some away.
Yeah.
We only got about 80,000 pieces.
80,000 people. That ought to last this week anyway.
It should.
All right, Patrick, I just
All
want to
right.
thank you guys again, man.
Appreciate it.
It was awesome. It was great seeing you again. And I would also like to thank everybody for watching tonight. Everybody that's on Twitch, YouTube, please. I just looked at our analytics, and 70% of the people don't hit subscribe. We'd appreciate it if you would. That always helps us. And would definitely appreciate that too. And Rumble people. Is that what you? No.
Comment below.
Oh yeah, and leave a comment. If you like it, hate it. Hey man, we got pretty tough skin around here. So anyway, but we appreciate you watching. So have a great day, and we will see you next week with our next guest. And we'll let you know who that's going to be.